How's everyone doing on this beautiful Saturday? I'm at one of my favorite coffee shops. If you want to come up with one of the best ways to spend your weekends when you're single to decompress, because I have 3 days off in a row with my schedule, explore different coffee shops. It's the most social, healthiest thing to do. Healthy, not bars, coffee shops. So I am going to talk about today Wally the alligator, the service animal. I hadn't shaved in a while. I'm not a beard guy, so I was growing it out a little bit. So I look a little different than my other videos. There are, with reptiles, for instance, when you see there's these shows, someone has a python and it attacks them and unalives them. And they'll say something, well, Lucy the python had a bad day. No, they don't have bad days. They don't have emotions. They're not humans. They're not mammals. There's no such thing. There's 4 components to how these reptiles function, and it goes for lizards as well. They have feeding, predatory, defensive, and territorial. So the most dangerous is defensive. Whenever these animals, these reptiles, are in a defensive mode, out of that 4, they're going to unalive you and rip you apart because they are threatened. Because they do get threatened, they get anxious and they get nervous in their way, and they're going to protect themselves. Remember this is what people don't get. These are animals older than dinosaurs. They're prehistoric. They have, especially crocodiles, which evolved to kill, and people say they're killing machines, but that's derogatory. They evolved and stopped evolving at a time when there were gigantic, a snake was 50 feet, a rhinoceros was 25 feet. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but the massive, dangerous animals. They were not the apex predator. They were a top predator, but there was much larger animals. So they still maintain that. That is why crocodiles in the Nile, American Cuban crocodiles, Cayman crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles, black caimans in South America. I have some videos about those. I've interacted with them. They are very territorial, and that is where people get killed or badly hurt. They get unalived. They get unalived. I don't want to violate YouTube guidelines. By going into these animals' territory, the crocodiles, because they evolved, because here comes a 20-foot rhinoceros in 105 million AD, that could hurt that's in its territory, could take its food, could potentially hurt the animal, and hurt the others, and they have to be able to be territorial. So that is where that comes from. Remember that. They didn't just wake up one day and say they want to go after humans. They're maintaining something that comes from a time when other animals, dinosaurs, they lived during dinosaur times, were gigantic. And number 2, we're going into the top 4. We're going into feeding, territorial, predatory, and defensive. So Wally most likely is being fed often enough. He's getting fed whatever he wants. He is not defensive. He doesn't feel threatened at all. The predatory aspect, since his growth is stunted, is lower. And alligators typically are not territorial with humans. That's one thing. Whenever there's attacks in Florida and Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, the Deep South, those animals are not attacking because of territory. It goes into the other 3. There's predatory, and they're reacting to their predatory instincts. So that's where pythons decide. You watch these shows of fatal owners, fatal attacks. They love Lucy the python. She's 15 feet long. She's 200 pounds. One day, she is in a predatory mode, and here comes their owner. He thinks their owner, and he goes ahead and wants to handle her, and she strangles him. Or the king cobra, he decides to be a good idea. Let's take the king cobra for a walk, and takes the king cobra out, and the king cobra within 10 seconds bites, and it's over. Because it's in a predatory mode, or it feels threatened, or it's wanting to eat. And that's all you're going to deal with. They don't have bad days. They're in one of these modes. And the people think, and the caveat to this is, well, I fed the python, I fed the alligator, I fed the crocodile. It's happy. It's going to just lay there and be loving and sweet, and it's going to be, and they don't act that way. These animals are not wired that way. They will keep eating and eating. They don't have a governor like on a car to stop eating, because they came from it. They finished evolving at a time when food could be scarce, like in the Everglades now. It's sad because these poor animals don't have any. The alligators, their food sources are getting wiped out by the pythons. So that's a whole nother thing. So everybody, don't encourage this behavior. Don't like those Wally the alligator videos. If you're for animal welfare, we all love animals, and these are animals too. They're God's creatures, or whatever you believe. You know, I don't mean God in a Christian, Muslim, Jewish sense. I mean it in more of a universal for everybody and every living thing. So please take it as that, or whatever deity you accept. Don't keep them as pets. Love them and observe them. If you want to have interactions and own them, then learn about them and open a sanctuary, which I'm planning to do. Open a rescue, and then properly learn and have experts and educated folks who can teach you about these animals. And you can take care of them and recreate their habitats with each other. But you're not going to, I see people riding them like they're horses, doing it's all over, doing the stupidest behavior you can imagine. You see people who, there's so many videos. There's a comedian that is funny named Schuler King. And I don't know this guy from Adam. I just came across him, but some of his stuff is stupid. It's not funny. It's not my type of humor. I don't want to. He's really a funny comedian, but it's a different type of humor. But his videos with alligators and lizards are tremendous. You have to check them out. Schuler King. You got to check him out and just put in crocodiles and alligators, because he doesn't come from a culture where people care about having those as pets, and they think it's bizarre and they don't want to be near them. And he shows videos of people sticking their heads in their mouths, laying down, and also leave these animals alone. And he's got a great point, number one, but number two, it's abuse, and you're teasing and taunting an animal. Except this animal can unalive you, tear you apart. But that's like teasing and taunting a baby in a cruel way. It's disgusting. And none of us, I think all of us who are for animal welfare, don't want that. And we find that repulsive. And that goes for all of them. You don't see people doing that, teasing and taunting a 20-foot python. They'll do it with alligators and crocodiles to a certain degree. They're not going to do it with a rattlesnake. Well, they'll try to do it, and it's over. Because snakes will react very quickly or get away or come at them. Alligators don't want to be near humans. They actually want to be left alone. And they're ambush hunters, so they can stay underwater for 5 to 6 hours. Crocodiles are very intelligent, and they're studying everything. So, and same with alligators, all you'll see is their eyes, or they'll sit there with their mouths open. They're doing that to warm themselves because they're cold-blooded, and they might be trying to breathe. There's a reason. They're not just doing that to do that. But people take that as being timid, or they see them sunning themselves. I don't know how there's not more attacks in the Everglades, and I'm not talking about just in the swamp. I'm talking about the trails, because the amount of buffoons, goofs, doofuses, morons that are running around the world, especially this country. I don't know how, because you go on nice trails in the Everglades and there'll be 1 or 2, 3 big bull alligators sunning themselves, and they're not going to bother you. You know, and it's give them, say, 15 feet away. Especially if you're not familiar with animals and reptiles, but everybody stay away. But I am shocked that more people don't feel like they need to go up and sit on them and pet them and fiddle. But maybe, and I hope it's people who go to these, you know, the Everglades. It's not the Grand Canyon. Maybe they're very interested in that. Forgive, there's some cycle over there carrying on, so forgive me for that, whatever that is. So, but anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. Pass this on. Please like and subscribe to my channel, Tiger Wolf Travels. I'm the Alligator Prophet. I'm here for animal welfare. Please click on the notification bell. Excuse me. I've always had a speech impediment, so it's something I've worked on my whole life. And so if anybody has any suggestions for that at this stage of my life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and respect reptiles, respect each other, but look at them, learn about them, and I think everybody who comes to my channel does. Thank you so much for watching. Please have a blessed, safe Saturday. Keep making yourself better. Find your soulmate, and God bless you. Here is the issue with this, and I want to talk about this because reptiles and misunderstood animals I have a passion for. And I don't want to demean this gentleman. He seems like a really nice guy, and somehow this alligator has supposedly helped him, which is great. But here's the downsides with it. There's a lot of people, especially in Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, the deep southeast, who have a very negative view of alligators and crocodiles, those types of animals. And there's also a lot of people who will taunt and tease them and just try to kill them for no reason. They will do stupid things like try to interact with these animals, and when you shouldn't, and they'll either get hurt or they'll get killed, and it's not the animal's fault, it is their fault. They asked for it. Unless you are minding your own business and you get attacked, and that does happen, and it's horrid, you have no business. Leave these animals alone. Leave them alone. Hands down. You can observe them. You can go to the Everglades and look at them, and let me tell you, Everglades is probably one of the best national parks in the country. I live in the Southwest, and I went a couple years ago. It's better than anything here in a different way. It has, you know, a lot of the parks, the Grand Canyon, the Mesa Verde, they're incredible and I love them and you can go to them, but the Everglades is something special. It's something different because of the wildlife. So talking about that, getting to really what the issue is, if you look at Wally is an adult male alligator, and he's only 4.5, 5 feet long. That's symptomatic, and this is what happens when people try to keep these animals as pets, crocodiles too. They don't grow properly. That Wally should be 10 to 15 feet easily, and they also have a lot of bone issues and health issues. They have what's called MBD, metabolic bone disease. You can look it up. For gators, alligators, and crocodiles kept as pets, not in captivity, but even these tremendous Gatorland in St. Augustine, they have a place in Mississippi, Louisiana, and they do great work taking care of crocodilian, which crocodilian is an umbrella term for alligators and crocodiles. So But keeping these animals as pets, not only Wally is basically his growth is stunted. It's abuse. It's abuse. And in a lot of ways, it's good. Whatever happened with him missing and being put in a swamp, the positive is that's where he should have been all this time. I mean, I don't even validate this, but this would have been a lot better if he would have been let to live in a swamp or some water, and Joe, the guy, the owner of Wally, would have went out and fed him and visited with him, and which you still shouldn't be doing with wild crocodilian, wild alligators, but at least that would have allowed him to grow. Now Wally, I don't know if he knows how to hunt, if he knows how to interact with other animals. He's pretty much going to be on his own, and hopefully they have found him or find him. And if you also look at him, there's videos of him with small children. I think those might be his grandchildren or nieces, and they're holding him like a baby. They're playing with him, and Wally just doesn't do anything. He could, and if he decided just to have a bad day or whatever, he would hurt them very badly or even worse. And that's the biggest thing. These animals are not dogs and cats. They evolved differently. They do have emotion, but it's something we don't understand, and they have it with each other. A mother alligator and a mother crocodile will care for their young like mammals will until they go loose. They go loose and build their own existence. But the difference is alligators and crocodiles breed with each other. Excuse me. Forgive me for what I just said. What I meant to say was alligators and crocodilian. They will breed together. You're not going to see a allidile. But the point I'm saying is alligators will breed with every other alligator. Crocodile will breed with other crocodiles, and they will breed with each other. That's not what I meant, though. The point, they never evolved over the 250 million years they've been around to build bonds. They don't bond with mammals. They don't bond with people. They don't bond. They don't have that capability to do that. They have Wally has no feelings for any human being. The reason he is like the way he is because they're most likely he's probably being fed a lot. He may have his own room or enclosure, and he had been with that gentleman since he was small, and he's not threatened at all. That's the only, and a biologist could probably break it down, because this alligator is bizarrely docile. And if they do find him after he's been in the swamp, I can guarantee he's not going to be as docile, and he shouldn't be. They're not. It's not. You can train these animals, you can't tame them. So it's abuse. It's hands down. He's committing, and anyone else who has them as pets, animal abuse. It's not right, and it's wrong to do that. And there's a lot of people who think that's appropriate, to keep these animals as pets. So that's why it seems so cute and fluffy, and the way the narrator, and it's abuse, it's wrong, and it's going to set people up to either get extremely badly hurt. It doesn't matter. And Wally, who's not a big alligator, could still rip someone to shreds and probably unalive them if he wanted to. Or you're going to get that animal's going to have to be put down. That's the problem with this, because don't think for a minute people don't watch this and they watch at Wally when I say this, and they think, well, gee, he has it and he turned it into like a dog, so I think I'll get one, because I want to. There is an element to it, gives him celebrity, folks. It's celebrity. You see this, the guy in the bank in line, and he has an iguana on his neck. The guy walking around or the girl walking around with a parrot or something stupid like that, or if someone's got a python or a boa constrictor or some nonsense, 90% of the time, and I can tell you from a forensic psychological perspective, these people want attention. They don't need to parade them around town. They don't need to bring them around. These are not animals that need to be out that way. And reptiles get agitated very easily. It's not good for them, and it's not good for people. So that's what that is. I know he went to I think it was a a Philadelphia Phillies game, and they would not let him in. He said he had a legal card, that he was a service animal. They weren't going to let him in, and rightfully so. No one wants to be sitting next to that. They're there to see a ball game, and you don't know if something triggers the predatory instinct of this animal, because these animals have no emotion. And I'm going to break it down for you, and you'll really appreciate this education. And this is something children in school, this is something they really don't teach in biology, which will fascinate you.